Are you looking to be a better teacher, a better motivator for the basketball player or players in your life? Are you looking to help them truly enjoy their basketball journey? Well, today I'm going to share with you the inspiration behind Hard Smart Together, a little bit about who I am, a little bit about my background, and how I hope Hard Smart Together can be a resource for you, for your players, and help you enjoy that journey. So let's jump in. Welcome. The very first Chalk Talk with Coach Dave. I am Coach Dave, and today what I plan to kind of go over is my inspiration behind this Hard Smart Together thing. A little bit about who I am so that you can get to know me. And as I continue these Chalk Talks, I plan on having a Chalk Talk each week on a different topic that will help us as, whether you're a parent of a player or a coach of a team or a trainer, a mentor. It's really meant to be a resource for all of us as we work with players and help them improve. So my journey to this point, talking to you, started long ago. I was a player throughout, high school, college, small Division III school back east, and I really never thought I'd get into coaching. I always thought, I'm a player. I'm not necessarily a coach. Like so many parents or friends of parents, I got roped into coaching a CYO team with a couple of friends long ago, and that was the beginning of my coaching journey, and that was really the beginning of my journey in working with basketball players, like a lot of you. I had coached for a number of years, CYO, AAU teams. It was all really simple. You show them some fundamentals, and it was kind of easy to win at those levels. So I thought I kind of knew what I was doing when it came to teaching basketball, teaching techniques to players, coaching teams, motivating, all those things. I thought, I've got it. I can win CYO, I can win AAU, easy stuff. Until I got my first job coaching a high school team. Now this high school team, I got to tell you, it was pretty bad when I took it over. I got the program. A friend of a friend really needed a coach because this team really hadn't won in a number of years. When they won, it was, onesie twosies here and there. I think the year before I took that job, they hadn't won, maybe they didn't win a game, or maybe they won one or two games the year before. But I thought that recipe for, what I had been doing at the CYO and the AAU level, it was going to translate pretty well to high school. I thought, it can't be that bad, right? Well, I was wrong. Let's put it that way. The first game, I actually had an opportunity to play our first game against a coach. This was a girls basketball team, high school team. And I was playing against a coach who had coached the boys team of my rival high school when I went to high school. So I knew him really well. In fact, I may do a Chalk Talk with him in the future. Great coach. But he, at the time, was coaching, same rival high school from mine, but he was coaching the girls team at that point. So we had arranged a preseason game. It was a preseason game. And I jotted down the score here because I want to get it right. It was really bad. So the final score of the game, I'm just looking over here, was 83-48. 83-48, I was crushed. I wasn't used to losing as a coach. I was winning CYO games. I was winning AAU games. Of course, era was at a different level and with a different level of player. But I couldn't believe that we had lost. We had kind of gone over the same fundamentals we went over at those other levels, and I thought our players were okay. Funny thing is, the opposing coach and friend, Hans, came up to me after the game, and he goes, you guys are going to be fine. I was told by everybody that you guys wouldn't even score. So from his perspective, it was great. Like, we had scored 48 points. Like, we were on our way. For me, it was a crushing blow. So I have long times joked that as a coach, I only go out and have a beer with my coaching staff on two types of games, after two types of games. And that's wins and losses. Of course, it's a lot easier when you win because it's a celebratory beer, but this was not celebration. I remember sitting there, we order fries, nachos, whatever we do as a coaching staff, and I was just sitting there, and I just had like my face in my hand, and I couldn't take a sip of my beverage. I didn't want any fries. I didn't want any nachos. I was just like devastated. And at the time, I thought, I had all these fears. Maybe I was over my head. Maybe I shouldn't be coaching high school. Maybe I don't know what I'm teaching these kids. But what I look back and realize now is that actually that was the beginning of my coaching journey. Even though I had been coaching for a few years, before, and even though I had been a player and I really thought I knew the game of basketball, I was kind of clueless. I was clueless about how to teach, what to teach. I really was at the beginning of my journey. Now, the beauty of that was that motivated me. I mean, you want to talk about lighting a fire under me? That lit a fire. So what did I do? I started, we all buy maybe a coaching book or maybe a video or two. No, that's not what I did. I bought everything. I have an enormous library of coaching books, biographies of great coaches in not just basketball, not just women's basketball. I started studying every great coach out there, whether they coached basketball, whether they coached soccer, whether they coached football. I studied motivation. I studied film, how to use film better in teaching basketball. I must have bought, if we needed to get better at defense, I bought every video of every great defensive team out there, how they practiced, what drills they practiced, all that type of stuff. If we needed to be better rebounding, it was right down to the rebounding great programs. Michigan State, for instance. Michigan State men, great rebounding team. I studied them. I also started attending a number of coaching clinics. Locally here in the Bay Area, I started attending clinics over at Cal Berkeley, at Stanford, at different places, different clinics that I could learn how to be a better coach. And then I also attended one of the premier, I think, teaching, and because I actually started working with them, but one of the premier teaching camps in the nation, I attended as a coach. I attended Point Guard College. I actually attended Point Guard College as a coach a couple of times. I got to know them and eventually actually worked as a coach at Point Guard College as well, which is a traveling camp around the nation. But that wasn't enough for me. I was like, okay, I'm coaching women. Who is the top women's program? Well, UConn. I had read Gino Ariema's book. I had studied his program. I had studied the history of the program. Well, I better go work his camp too. So I flew across the country and worked at Gino Ariema's camp. Anything I could do, I would do to get better. Now, this happened over the course of the next years as I was still coaching at the high school level. But that loss I mean, if I had won that day, I probably would have been like, I know what I'm doing. Even if we had been close, but it was such a crushing loss that it really motivated me to get better for a couple of reasons. One, I had a deep-seated fear that I was kind of doing a disservice for my players. Maybe I just didn't know what to teach them. Maybe I didn't know how to motivate them. And so that fear really drove me over the next few years. My learning and really becoming a student of the game started there, but it continues today. Even though I'm actually not coaching a team today, it's continuing. I went on to coach at the Division II level, and then ended up at St. Mary's College here in the Bay Area at the Division I level as a player development assistant coach. So, but my lifetime learning of the game never stopped. Now, looking back as a player, boy, I was pretty clueless on the game of basketball and, how to play. I might have been, kind of athletic. Might have gotten lucky a little bit, but boy, I was pretty clueless. So here we are today, and I've got these years and years and years of building this knowledge base of how to motivate, how to teach, and I should just take a step back. That was really my focus. My focus is, a lot of coaches are always looking at, okay, what's the next play? What's the next trend in plays? What's the next offense? What's the next defense? Where I focused my attention on this learning journey of mine was mainly on how to teach better, how to teach a player a skill, an offense, a defense, whatever that happened to be, but how to teach more effectively and how to motivate a team or a player, if I was working with an individual player, how to motivate them more effectively. And also, something that I learned throughout my entire career in coaching, I wanted to get better at helping them enjoy their journey. So it's all these things that I've compiled throughout this time that I thought, I've got this great resource here. And I eventually went from coaching back into, I had been in the technology world. Imagine that, here in the San Francisco Bay Area. I worked in technology for a long time as well before getting into coaching, and then I went back that route. But I always had in the back of my mind, here I have all this knowledge. I'm constantly still studying. I'm constantly still looking at different ways of using video. I still do some workouts with players and such, but I'm not coaching a team. And I've had this vision behind this resource, Hard Smart Together, for years. In fact, when I first got out of coaching, I was talking to some of my friends at the time, and I go, I don't know what I'm going to do with all this. I've spent years and years compiling kind of this knowledge base, and now I feel like I'm kind of wasting it. But I had this vision, and this vision is in a need to kind of help people. A vision behind it and the need to continue helping. So, who's Hard Smart Together for? Hard Smart Together, first of all, is for anybody who is working with an individual basketball player, a basketball team. You might be a parent that just wants to enjoy kind of the journey of getting better with your player on a regular basis. Maybe you want to work them out. Maybe you want to help motivate them. Maybe you want to, just enjoy the game, talking about it with your player better. Maybe you're a coach of a team. Maybe you're like I was when I was kind of thrust into a CYO job. Maybe you've just taken over a CYO team as a dad. You need some tips or some knowledge to kind of help you formulate your program. Maybe you're a high school coach. Maybe you're a college. I don't know, what level you might coach at, but although as coaches we tend to think we know it all, maybe there's something here that you can help you grow as a coach and help you grow your team. Maybe you're a trainer. I know a lot of trainers. It's funny. I see them all the time. A lot of them are my ex-players, and they become trainers. And hopefully they're kind of growing their knowledge base as well. But maybe you're a trainer that you're looking for some motivational tips. You're looking for some tips on how to work with your player, how to become a better teacher, how to grow your game. So it could be parent. You could be a parent. You could be a coach. You could be a trainer. Even players. Maybe there's some stuff here that you want to share with your players. Maybe there's some stuff that I'm going to go over in the Chalk Talks that you'll sit down and watch with your players. It's going to be a lot of some stories of my coaching career and things I've seen. I plan on, maybe bringing in some interviews. I have a lot of coaching friends that I'd love to interview them and have them give their take to you. Book reviews, video reviews, resources. I want to share it all. So, I've had coaching friends the whole way through that I haven't been coaching for the last few years say, do you miss it? Do you miss it? And do you think you're going to come back? And they're always trying to get me to come back. And yes, what I miss is helping. And so when like I said, I've had this in the back of my head for a long time. And then when I thought, do I put together this project, Hard Smart Together, or do I coach a team? And I thought, if I coach a team, I probably get to affect a good number of lives. Take over a program. Maybe there's, 3 teams in a program, and, you've got maybe 30 or 40 student athletes. You've got the parents. You've got the boosters. You've got people that you can affect their life. But then I thought, Hard Smart Together, boy, if I can help the people that are already doing that, maybe I can expand, my sharing and expand my help. So the thing I miss is helping players get better. And if I can help parents and coaches and trainers all work together and help these journeys of these players, well, then I've helped even more players than I can help as a coach. So that's kind of a little background there. I also wanted to, we talk about getting better as coaches and working on our game, or getting better as parents working with. I want to go back to my journey as a player, and I said, hey, here I was kind of clueless. I was kind of athletic, and I could do a few things, but I was clueless when it came to the game of basketball, but even like individual skill sets. I think back to high school, and if any of my high school teammates happen to stumble upon Hard Smart Together here and start watching me, you can remember I was not an outside shooter by any means in high school. I was like 6 foot and could jump center and could rebound and do things, but I didn't have a beautiful shot. And in fact, my shot was like the set shot. It was horrible. It was like a set kind of push shot. The fundamentals were horrible. And I remember a coach at that point, I was probably a senior, and a coach at that point said, you need to develop a jump shot. And he probably felt he was really helping me by saying, you need to develop a jump shot if you want to play at the next level. If you want to play junior college, whatever, you need to develop a jump shot. But he didn't tell me how to develop a jump shot. He didn't work with me, and he didn't give me any drills, and he just said, you need to develop a jump shot. And again, he probably thought he was helping, and to this day, I don't know, did he not know any drills? Did he not know how to build a jump shot, break it down, and help a player develop that jump shot? Maybe he didn't know. Maybe he didn't have a resource that he could know. He knew I needed a jump shot, but he didn't know how to tell me. He didn't know how to work with me. I remember about that time as well, I went out and I bought a basketball drill book. It was a book. Okay, I'm older. YouTube wasn't around. Resources like this weren't around. So I went and bought a book. And it had drills in it. It had ball handling drills, had a few shooting drills. It was like, I think it was called the Book of Basketball Drills. And I had this book, and I tried my best to follow the fundamentals and to go through, and it probably helped me improve. But throughout my entire basketball playing career, I think I just relied on athletic ability and trying to figure it out myself. I remember, I'd come flying in for layups, as a very young player, and these balls would just go rocketing off the backboard. And I kind of figured out, wait a second, if I stop, I can make the layup easier. I figured out jump stops kind of on my own, right? And now as a coach, I know how important jump stops are to the game. So what I'm saying is that I want to help that player who I was, who needed to develop a jump shot, and maybe, somebody wants to work with that player. Maybe it's a parent, maybe it's a coach that just doesn't have the resources to easily help that player develop a jump shot or point them in the right direction. So I want to help players like myself who maybe don't have the resources today, and we can help grow as coaches and parents and mentors and help, make them better and help them enjoy that journey. So why am I doing this? I kind of shared kind of my motivation behind it, but I know that at the time that I took over that high school program, took that crushing loss that I never like to talk about, but here I am talking about it for a long period of time. Took that crushing loss, and truly that was the moment that I became a student of the game, and wanted to learn everything I could about teaching the game and motivating and, making players better. I had a lot of time. In fact, I'll share, I lost a girlfriend over it because she's like, all you do is spend time on this basketball stuff. What are you doing? Like, all night you're reading and watching videos and you're going and coaching and it's basketball. And she was like, that's too much time you're taking to do all that. Why are you doing all that? Well, I had a passion and I spent a lot of time. I understand that maybe some of you don't have that time. Parents, coaches, we're in a busy world and you have full-time jobs and, family responsibilities, and maybe you don't want to lose a girlfriend or a boyfriend over, diving into all this material. So I can kind of take all this knowledge that I have, that I continue to learn, and share it with you once a week in these Chalk Talks, and hopefully it's helpful for you. Hopefully it helps you become better, and obviously then trickles down and helps your player or players. On that note, also wanted to let you know about a free resource. It's a kind of my first full-blown resource. It's a little workshop. It is a planning workshop. And I felt one of the biggest things I did when I was trying to get better as a coach is become more efficient with my time. And so you'll see at the bottom of this video, or if you're listening to the podcast, there's a link at the bottom of this video. If not, you can go to heartsmarttogether.com/planning workshop and download the free resource. It also has my practice plan, just a template for it that I used in high school. It has a individual workout template that you can use as well. So if you're looking for a resource so that you can become a better planner, maximize the time you have with your players, I highly recommend that you go ahead and download that free resource. So with that said, I'm going to wrap up this Chalk Talk number 1 in the books. Next week, I've got a really exciting topic planned on becoming better teachers by learning a little bit more about how our players learn. So that should be a fun topic to cover, and hopefully that's helpful. And then we'll get rolling. Every week we'll have a different topic. Every week, hopefully we'll get better as coaches and helping our players get better. So until then, Thank you for watching, and thank you for working with your players to help them play hard, play smart, and most importantly, play together. Okay. Bye.